Okay. It's a fleur-de-lis, so let's call these petals. I'm going to separate, I'll just do it on one side. I'm going to separate this petal from that center one, like this. I'll do it on the other side as well, but let me just work with this one. So from there, I'm going to do two things. I'm going to be taking this down here, leaving a ridge in the middle. So this is like a crest. Now, did you notice, so when I did this, did you notice that it started pulling against the grain? So when we're working in this direction along the grain, sometimes you're with it and sometimes you're pulling against it. So what I needed to do here was to come back in this direction, this way. So you might have to go backwards and forwards. See how it's split? I don't know if you saw that splitting there. I think we're all right, we're in the way, but we're going to take this down. So sometimes you need to go this way, sometimes you'll need to come in the opposite direction. And you can always come across like this at this stage, because we'll clean it up later. But this is going to come right back down here. Taking all this down here. So this is dropping down over here, coming up to a high spot, dropping down there, dropping down here. So I'll do it, just doing a little bit of that now. Then what I'm going to do is take a carving tool. I'm going to turn it upside down. This is a flat gouge. If I just say here we use the gouge this way up, but of course we can use it that way up, not on this bit, but we could use it upside down here, and it's in sympathy with the shape. But just for now, I'm going to take my flat gouge, and I'm just going to take all this corner off here, start rounding this over. So I'm trying to think about the shape and running the tool around like that. And eventually, you know, I can go right down to the bottom here and actually stab across and into the background like that, which is the sort of thing you can't do if you're doing a relief carving. So what I do need to do at some point is to swap to a slightly more rounded tool and to work this flatter. But for the moment, let's continue over here. So this is around here. So what's happening is this is dropping down into there. So we can start separating that off like this, so it'll be down like that. Now if that's not quite right, we're going to have to take more wood off to get that slope right. So I just need to finesse that. So we're getting a big crease in there, and that's going to be becoming more and more rounded. So I'm pushing that around to get that shape coming around like that. So that's as far as I would go on this side before doing the other side, but I would certainly make sure this one here, this leaf is right round. So we shouldn't see any of the bandsawed or cut out edge when we're finished. Okay, so that's as far as I go here. I'm going to put this line back in, down the middle. That's a big reference point. And I'm going to do the same now on this side, copying that line in here. Now I've done the other side, you can see it's beginning to look much more like a fleur-de-lis. A bit clubby because we haven't taken wood away from here. But a couple of things to notice. Here, and here, you can see the paper from the original surface. So these would have been all that remains from the original surface, the high spots from which we took things down. We've also got now some lines happening. We've got a line here, which is a junction between this leaf, this petal, and this one. Same on the other side. So we now have to take care of that and make sure that's a nice flowing line. We've also got a line that's happening here, this line there. That's a change of plane between one side and the other. And again, we need to keep an eye on that line. And of course, that's the center line. So we will, we can draw that in and make sure that's right. I'll show you a few other things when we put it back down, but look how I've put everything down into there. So it's all pushed down into there. I also say that I haven't, I've left this fat. I don't want to just scoop this out. So this is a nice bulbous bit here, which will sort of echo the bulbous bit there. So don't just concave this in. Make sure you've got some mass in there. I want to point out how I've let this tool come down here and into that junction. So that junction becomes nice and sharp, and I'm pushing that corner here with my thumb like a little knife. So what I'm trying to do is get that junction very nice and clean. Okay, so the same with this edge here between the left and right planes, that's going to be key. So I'm going to bring them down here like this. Okay, now when I get here I can start tidying this up. So with a chisel, for the moment, I'll just set that in like so, and I can push that corner down there and that corner down there. I should be able to sort of nick these out. Like so. If that's that chisel won't go in, then you can use your skew chisel to pull that out there. So what we're looking at is, just for the moment, excuse me, so we're getting a sense of this passing through, these two grooves passing through and out the other side. So I'm just really establishing that. I'm not taking the corners off yet. So let me just we're with the grain here, along the grain, so it is sometimes a little bit difficult to get the fibres cut. that'll do for now. We've got this coming through here like that. So next, once we've got this, we need to do the same version, the rounding over of these smaller parts. So that's what we'll turn to next. I'm going to define these outer petals here with the V tool just to help my eye through, like so. This line here, in the end, must come through. That's really important, that these must look as if they're being contained. So once I've done that, I'm going to just, as before, just start rounding that over, like so. Take some of this away. This can't be this high. I mean, this has got to be coming right back down to the background. So let's take some of that off. So right down to the background there, just as with the other petals. And then this height we need to think about. It's probably a little bit high at the moment. So just try to eye that through as to what that might look like as it goes round. And then we can start. Let's get on that right. Taking some of this away here. So now we're separating out that middle petal. Again, coming right down to the background. I'll just really focus on one side for the moment. Okay, so what I want to be careful of here, as I said, is that this line here goes through and becomes that junction there. So we just clean that up a minute. What I'm doing here is I'm adjusting this one here, so this one will go through. So this one needs to be pushed over a little bit and this one that way, but between the two Okay, so what I want is a nice sort of rounded feel here to mimic this one at the top. And by using the tool on both sides, I should mirror the actual curve. At the end of this stage, we've done the outside of the petals and we're left with doing the inside. We've got the lines coming through, that's quite important, and also this sense, especially of the middle one running through, there's no sort of step. Okay, so these lines are quite important, so run those through, take a little bit of time with that, and when next we do this outside we can start rounding that over, and that's what we're going to do next, but get it into this state before moving on.